went to basic here, I've never seen anything other than the star barracks that they have. The rest of the base is actually kind of cool.
This side ain't bad. The basic training side is just depression, except
No,
for
dude, it's
fishing
horrible. All the buildings look the exact same.
Dude, I was here when Obama allowed the undocumented kids in there. They had like fences off. CNN was outside the gate. Dude, I was miserable.
That was after me. Look at the Stinger statue.
The back box.
Aiming?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
I can't remember what that piece is called. I guarantee they're going to tell us in here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe those are the 16-inch shells.
Yeah, those 16s from an Iowa class.
Those look, I don't know why they're here, but I'm pretty sure they are.
Because they look dope. I wonder if they'll let me take one of my carry-off.
I mean, aren't they? They're 2,100 pounds. The M45 quad now.
Is that the one they were throwing in the back of a truck?
Oh, yeah, I went in. They got a ton
They
of
have ones?
Yeah, they have several of them. Also known as the Kraut Lower or the Meat Chopper. They worked real good in the Battle of the Bulge.
The Eye of Death or something in Vietnam when they were throwing them on the back of the gun trucks.
Oh, they were causing some damage. Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
Cool. Right?
Edward, we chatted on the phone earlier. Corey, good to meet you.
If you want to call on me, I can raise my hand. I know some air defense stuff.
All right, cool. Well, there's going to be some new stuff you haven't seen yet.
Oh,
so
heck yeah.
So really, this is the Army Air Defense Artillery Training Support Facility. So the TSF is a new concept with the Army. Of course, we have a series of museums that we operate all over the world, but training support facilities are not open to the public, and they are basically facilities that we can bring in soldiers to instill a little bit of esprit de corps to them, but then also give them some buy-in to their history and learn from the mistakes of the past and stuff. So we highlight all of our air defense weapon systems, basically from World War I all the way to what we're using today. When we get new students in, we talk about basically what's going on right here. This is the the M3 3-inch anti-aircraft gun. So this is the prime defender of what we were using at Pearl Harbor and the Corregidor Island in the Philippines. And so this was the main air defense weapon we had at the time. With a crew of 11, you could have a sustained rate of fire of 20 to 22 rounds a minute with this. So it was a hefty weapon system, but honestly, it was a piece of junk. By the end of World War II, we've converted most of them to anti-tank guns. They were better suited for that than they were for air defense.
Didn't they have a pretty low flight ceiling as well?
They did. And the Japanese really, they realized very quickly that all they had to do was just fly over it. Today, there are 4 of these left in the world that we know of. There's 1 in pieces in the Philippines, 2 in Brazil, and then this is the only one in North America. We have 1 air defender left from the defense of Corregidor. He turns 102 this month. He came to visit us last summer, and this is the weapon system he was on.
So he was part of the Death March. And
Yeah. So the Death March was a little bit separate. So those were the baton guys. So they surrendered about a month before the Corregidor guys did.
Fort Drum was the last one.
Yep.
The holdout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was the same basic experience once they got into captivity. In fact, actually, we've got artifacts on display from Bataan and Corregidor. We're actually still working on this case. We don't even have it completed yet. But that uniform that's on display right there is from the 200th Coast Artillery. And that was a lieutenant colonel that was with the 200th on Bataan.
But closed for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like humans were a lot smaller back then.
Oh, for sure.
Well, and the tailoring on this, so there's tons of patches on there, and he had to keep taking it in. He was losing so much weight. The veteran that came in and talked to us, when he enlisted he was 19, he was 176 pounds, and when he was liberated in 1945, he was 85 pounds.
Holy shit. Half your body weight.
That's insane. Isn't most, if not all of this, not demilled?
Right. And so AR 870-20, which is our governing regulation, states that when we accept new items, we do not demill anything. The goal is to keep it as close to operational as we can in case we want to refer back to it later on.
That's awesome.
This is so cool. Now, we don't want to be confused. This isn't the cannons the Russians are using on the front on the battlefields in Ukraine right now. It may look very similar.
Right. You know, it's funny. Every time I see a new video that they put out, I'm looking at the weaponry in the background. It's like MG08 still in the background.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, dude, look at that.
I've seen Maxim machine guns, Mosin Nagants.
Oh, yeah.
Just old stuff.
So Coast Artillery is how we get our start. This is actually the piece we just put in about an hour ago. So this is the M1912 3-inch Coast Artillery gun, serial number 1. And that's what we were using really coming into World War I when we started to take on the air defense role as well. The Army, we go to the Army gives us a larger caliber weapon for air defense, which is the M1897, the French 75, which is a direct fire field artillery piece. And that's what we're supposed to shoot down aircraft with. That's maximum elevation for that weapon system. And so we have to get creative. We come up with all kinds of ideas, but eventually, yeah, and you can see a few of the examples
right here. That's
a trench.
I mean, like, at one point, we even had an 11-foot tall tripod for this thing.
That's American ingenuity at its finest.
So we mounted one of these or several of these to the beds of pickup trucks. I mean, like, everything you could think of. And eventually, in 1918, we get our first dedicated anti-aircraft gun, the M1918. This is number 48 off of the assembly line. We built about 1,000 of those things. They're really late into World War I, so most of them don't see service. Out of the 1,000 that we built, that's the only one that we know that exists. And that is still fully operational as well.
That's awesome.
So that's what we're using. The Germans are using the Flugzeugabwehrkanone 16, or Flak 16, which is the first iteration of the German 88.
One of the most devastating weapons of World War II.
There is only one facility in the entire world that has every iteration of the Flak 88, and you're standing in it. So we got the Flak 16. The Flak 19 is painted and ready to come in. The Flak 36 is the tan one that we've got moved out of the way right over there. The Flak 37 needs to go to paint this summer. And then the Flak 41, of which there were only like 200 made, we've got that one too.
So, I mean, what does that look like when you have to refurbish and just maintain all of these essentially artifacts and you're trying to keep them as close to operational? Like, who do you even go to paint something like that when it's like, hey, this is the last one in the world?
Right.
No big deal. Be careful. Like,
So there's some of it that's done in-house. So we do some restorations in-house. We have, LRC takes on some of them as well, our Logistics Readiness Center here on post. And then some of them go out for contract as well.
Because I can't imagine you can find parts for these things anywhere. Like,
right. You'd be surprised, though. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in warehouses still.
The redneck. He's in Europe.
Right.
the front line.
Everything on this wall was captured in combat and brought back here to study. So World War I, and then from here down is World War II, early war.
Losers.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And what's funny is the German air defense actually, their soldiers actually come here to look at their equipment because we have more of their equipment than they do.
There's nothing funnier than just America being like, this is cool. We're going to take it and put it in a museum.
Our museums are more heavily armed than most other armies.
They're right. So we've got 3 early war Italian guns from both Beretta and Beretta. And then we've got 3 early war German guns as well. So this is kind of what Italy and Germany are coming into the war with, and then this is what we're coming into the war with in World War II. And this kind of leads up into what happens the early stages of World War II. In essence, right now there are a lot of parallels between what's going on in the world right now and what's happened in the 1930s. And we're looking at peer-to-peer conflicts. But when you start looking at it on a very small scale, you start to see a lot of the same things happening over and over again. When Japan began to expand out in the 1930s looking for resources in the Pacific, they began to expanded down south to the Dutch East Indies looking for oil and rubber, and then tried to expand out to the east. Well, we had a chain of islands in the way. You had Wake Island and Guam and Midway and Philippines and all of that. Coincidentally, when the whole war begins for us, we're attacked at Pearl, but we're also attacked at all those other islands. And so we're looking as that's starting to unfold again with a new aggressor in the region. And so, China is kind of taking that place, and we're looking at China expanding out, looking for those resources the exact same way that Japan did. And, you're watching Europe set up the same way it did in 1939. I mean, really, if you compare Ukraine with, September 1st of 1939 in the beginning of the invasion of Poland, it's kind of ended differently up to this point. And, but I mean, really, they're very, very similar to the parallels in, Germany annexing Austria and Czechoslovakia and then attacking Poland, and Russia annexing Crimea and Odessa and then attacking, Ukraine. So a lot of parallels that we can look at. or watching.
I feel like you're slow walking me into telling me you've got a bunch of anti-drone weapons you're gonna get into this
Yeah,
tour with.
we'll talk about those here in a little while.
I mean, lead slingers, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh yeah. So, and really,
Welcome to the next episode of Habitually Fat.
Why are you whispering?
I don't know.
Hi, welcome to Habitually Fat. We got kicked out of the museum we were supposed to go to today, so now we're gonna go do blacksmithing.
Yeah.
And make candles and hold hands and stuff.
I think the big thing here is that Nick is wearing sleeves.
Bar of steel, turn it into that.
Oh, we want to try, yeah. I have the artistic talent of a potato, but we'll give it a shot.
It's not that many steps. It's really just heat, beat, repeat. So
You want to go first? You want me to go
Beat
first?
and repeat.
Sounds like a barracks on a Friday night.
Do you know the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean?
I don't like either.
I've never had a garbanzo bean on my face. This is a furniture replication of somebody in the 1800s being a f***ing smartass. Yeah. That's f***ing hilarious.
I love that.